Hello. One day you're working, the next you're not. And what you have is what you got. You lost the job you thought you'd keep. You wake up at night, you can't sleep. You got time now, time to dream, time to break down, cry and scream, and the earth spins round again. Sometimes your goals of any size just vanish in front of your eyes, and all that's left is what you see, like the squirrel outside your window in that tree, and the man there on the screen who wants us to try injecting Listerine, and the earth spins round again. Dice are up, no telling where they'll land when they come down from the air. Everything can change and fall apart, can affect your lungs. Assumptions thrown, they're in the breeze. Who knows what they'll be when we're done with this disease, and the earth spins round again. One day you're okay, things are all right. Then all of a sudden, overnight, foreclosed, evicted, living in cars, empty hotels and wine bars. Wake up to learn our collective fate depends on how we cooperate, and the earth spins round again. And the earth spins round again. Let me back up here so you can see the guitar. That was, and then we got comments. Let's see. Sounding great. Thank you. Very good. Excellent to know. And the voice was peaking a bit. I'll just turn everything down a little bit. And Happy New Year in Australia, where it's already January 1st. In Japan, wherever else. Not that there's anybody watching in Japan, but there's somebody in Australia, and this is more or less the same time zone. And if you're watching from China past the VPN, unfortunately we're not broadcasting on TikTok. It's not hooked up with StreamYard. Let's see here. We'll do that one. This is I'm trying out this Guild Baritone guitar with the strings it came with. I just got it a couple days ago, and I don't have a set of strings to put on it. They're coming separately in a different order, so it sounds a bit dead, but still fun. Like an old cloth torn and fraying, came like a clarion call to illustrate the saying, Divided we stand, divided, united. Let's try that again. Like an old cloth torn and fraying, came like a clarion call to illustrate the saying, united we stand, divided we fall. A thin veneer torn by disease shredded the great Khan laid bare, come from across the seas, now floating in the air, like a corpse that's lying exposed, that all of us now can see. All that the cadaver shows about a society, the veil of fantasy lifted, that gives us at least some idea how another world is possible. And I can hear her breathing now. Like the red blood that flows from the bullet, whether coated in rubber or not, like the faces you see in the helmet, reflecting the thickening plot, driven by such a villain, as a thing exponential allows. It says another world is possible, and I can hear her breathing now. Like the pallor on so many faces, on every end of the town, on the murals in so many places, boarded up and long ago shut down, making all the connections between the mule and the plow, that says another world is possible. I can hear her breathing now. Like the smoke rising up coast to coast, with formations that brighten the skies, like Lord Thomas Jefferson's ghost, his victims no longer disguised, as his visage falls into the river, like the skull of an old sacred cow, that says another world is possible. And I can hear her breathing now. Another world is possible, and I can hear her breathing now. Learning, this is my first time playing this guitar in front of a microphone. Just learning about what makes it sound good, what doesn't. I mean, it all sounds fine, but they all lend themselves to different types of songs, types of music. Each stringed instrument. So we got people in different parts of Australia, even on the morning of January 1st. New South Wales, Queensland, both of which I'll be visiting in March. Hawaii in January. If anybody's out there in Kona, we'll be making a recording. Me and Lorna and Kamala and Billy and Chet, whoever else, will be making a recording out there for the last half of January in Kona, and doing a couple of shows around there. And then February I'll be doing a tour from Portland to LA and back, doing a bunch of gigs around Southern Oregon and California. And then March, going out to Eastern Australia until early April. And then late May, Denmark, and June, Ireland and England, and hopefully Scotland as well. So that's what I'm up to coming up, if anybody out there wants to know. See, if I lean forward, I can turn the pages, and if I back up, you can see the guitar. So it's not quite acrobatics, but let's see. Time I leave the apartment, things change a little more. The rug pulled out so many times, who knows where's the floor. Folks look more ragged by the day. I can give them a few bucks, wonder what the future holds. Wish them luck as I walk on by. See the people on their porches, chairs out on a deck. Sometimes you can tell which ones received their checks, which ones are still waiting after all these many weeks, wondering if this is what it smells like up Schitt's Creek as I walk on by. Children ask me, not quite sure what to say, why the playground's always empty, where the kids all used to play, why the people cross the street now, whenever we walk near, where did all the people go, who used to be here as I walk on by. With my headphones on, like everybody else does, listening for news suddenly relevant, because we all want to know how the virus might transform all of us still here, weathering this storm as I walk on by. As I walk on by, as I walk on by. It's a very 2020 kind of song. It is. Oh, here's another 2020. We're doing a little pandemic in review, perhaps. I was trying to write a year in review, but it ended up being a century in review. It's my latest, second to latest, third to latest piece on Substack. Maybe second to latest, I don't know. The thing about publishing your own thing on Substack is you can do it whenever you want to, so I'm not like waiting for somebody to tell me. We'll run it in Counterpunch. I'm just putting it up there. guess they've got some toxic air in India right now, in New Delhi. It sounds like it was worse than it was in Portland even a couple years ago, 500 AQI or something. It just says smoke when you look on your phone when it's that bad. It doesn't say it's air, right? Wake up another morning, see my baby's cheeks, glad to be around, have another week, watch the magic happen, find all there is to learn as the planet floods and burns. Wake up another morning, grind some coffee beans, turn on Al Jazeera, marvel at the scenes, towns reduced to ashes, while the twisters churn as the planet floods and burns. Wake up another morning, picking on these strings, one more day to be here, find out what life brings. The horizon's red and hazy, that much I can discern, as the planet floods and burns. Wake up another morning, watch the neighbors drive away, heading to a warehouse to work another day, leaving me to wonder how fast this wind might churn as the planet floods and burns. Wake up another morning, see the Twitter trolls complain about the fascists who are living on the dole, demanding safe space in the boxcar and other such concerns as the planet floods and burns. Wake up another morning, see the orange hue, know what needs to happen, don't know what to do, show me to the ark, where's the bow and stern as the planet floods and burns. Wake up another morning, in the now again, if I want to see the future, I can count to 10. History, you'll find it in the tombstones and the urns as the planet floods and burns. As the planet floods and burns. Good. In England. And if anybody's watching in Central European time, then by the time this is over, it'll be the new year. It'll be exactly midnight your time. This is the striptease portion of the podcast. Let's see here. Let's try this one. Haven't even tried these songs, but I think this one will work. This is a baritone guitar, which is just like a normal guitar, except that the bottom string is, in this case, an A instead of an E, so, or D or whatever. So it's basically a fifth lower in every dimension, and bigger as well, which is how these things go. So for some reason it doesn't say you're watching Russian propaganda, but I think we'll be, you'll see a warning pretty soon. World War III. Amid the lightning and thunder, those left alive as long as they live will wonder, is there something that could have been done before nuclear winter blocked out the sun after the earth that we once knew was blown asunder? At the end of World War III, any pundits who may still be found will have heated debates about how the end came round. Was it the Black Sea blockade when the rush for the end times was made, or the breaking of promises promised when the wall came down? At the end of World War III, as people look for clean water to drink, as they're dreaming of the days when they had a kitchen sink, wishing they could try again to talk to belligerent men back when we were hanging on the brink. At the end of World War III, when everyone has the same thought, is this what imperial intransigence wrought? Life under occupation, or the end of creation? Decisions that decades of lost opportunities brought. At the end of World War III, with billions dead or dying, it won't matter who was right or who was lying. When civilization has ended, once the last warhead's descended, only then will there be no one left denying. At the end of World War III, as the few left alive survey the rubble remaining, wondering how long they'll survive, too late to question the story of expansion or conquest or glory. No time to rewind from the date Armageddon arrived. At the end of World War III, nice to see other folks out there. Belgium, Vim, good to see you. Let's see here. Maybe this one. I'm just going in alphabetical order, and doing the songs that jump out at me. But then somebody just said hi from Winnipeg, so I think I'll have to go out of order, you know. Because that reminds me of a song. Men were drafted, many never made it back. Those who did discovered in their absence they'd got the sack. Tenements and squalor, both rats and people getting sick. What they had in common, life was short, death was quick. No one had a plan what they were going to do when all the men came back home and the ranks of the unemployed grew. The way the people had to live was no life at all, but it still came as a surprise. How many answered the call? If you weren't there, you'll never know just what it was like when the whole city went on strike. City leaders and newspapers, in many ways they tried to do everything they could to widen the divide between good Canadians and those they called alien scum, between those who missed conscription and those who beat the war drum. But when the veterans marched in Winnipeg, they marched for everyone, under the banner of the working class, the one big union. Everybody left their jobs, whether organized or not. Even the policemen walked away, refused to embrace the rot. If you weren't there, you'll never know just what it was like when the whole city went on strike. Mayor deputized the scabs. Soon they shot 2 men who died in the city center on the hour when the scabs rampaged through the city, attacking anyone in the street, trapping people in alleyways, not even allowing them to retreat. Soldiers occupied the city. People hadn't eaten in weeks. Prospects for victory began to look bleak. People went back to their jobs, if indeed they even could. The bosses said they'd seek revenge, and many of them would. If you weren't there, you'll never know just what it was like when the whole city went on strike. Strike leaders were imprisoned, from where several were elected to the Canadian Parliament. And a monument was erected at Main and Portage, where a streetcar was overturned, driven in by strike breakers on the spot where it was burned. It was a century ago, but life is often still defined by which side you were on that picket line. Was your grandpa shot in the heart, or did they break his leg when the working class rose up and shut down Winnipeg? If you weren't there, you'll never know just what it was like when the whole city went on strike. Let's see here. Something else starts with W, maybe. Fifth month of the year. Whoops. Let's see. Fifth month of the year, on the 1st of May, known around the world as International Workers' Day. You'll still see people marching in every corner of the earth. St. John to Santiago, Kerala to Perth, all taking alive the fantasy what could happen down the line. when the workers of the world come by. You can see us gathering early in the morn. Some are celebrating the shackles we have shorn, while so many billions are just waiting for the moment that we might stop losing the class war, when someday we can all say, yeah, we're doing fine. When the workers of the world come by. When that time arrives, maybe it looks like May Day, like a festival that comes home and doesn't go away. Every race and gender, every walk and station, with the working class united, every land and nation. Then just watch what happens when we follow the same sign. When the workers of the world come by. Fifth month of the year, on the 1st of May, known around the world as International Workers' Day. Thank you, folks, for the kind words. Let's see, I think we need something sparser would bring out the coolness of this instrument. I think I got, let's see how this sounds. Got one in mind. Lovely to see you virtual people out there. I love seeing people say where they're from. Winnipeg, Tulsa, New York, England. When people get further afield, they start referring to their what country they're in. Perhaps on the assumption that I won't know where Milton Keynes is, but I do. 10,000 yuppies just moved here. 10,000 others came last year. The rent has doubled since I moved in. Each month I take it on the chin. Each month I wonder how many more can I stay in Portland before I move into my car or end up somewhere behind bars. 10,000 yuppies say, don't complain, now that the city is in the fast lane. It's just the market, and it knows best. That's how the bankers built the West. So just get rich, and you can stay. Otherwise, just go away. There's no room here for us, holding on under the bus. I'm just a renter. This ain't my town. Might as well just burn it down for all I care. $10,000 yuppies think it's great to invest in Portland real estate. Keep Portland weird, they like to say, but that was over yesterday. Of their achievements, they're so proud, living lives on some cloud. But unlimited data will get you nowhere if you can't afford to care. I'm just a renter, this ain't my town. Might as well just burn it down for all I care. $10,000 yuppies, and on each block they're flipping houses and taking stock. Where's the next place they can transform? Tents and mansions, the new norm. They like TED Talks, they like greed. They like wine bars, they like weed. They like bike lanes, they want more. They're the face of the new class war. Or just a renter, this ain't my town. Might as well just burn it down for all I care. For all I care. For all I care. For all I care. And check out the album, which is actually my latest album, called Take the Power Back, 6-song EP with Mike Crenshaw. And we do that song where he does verses and I just sing the chorus, and it's really fun and very cool. And let's see here. Oh, I had another one in mind. This is another song I think this instrument likes. You know, I've heard on BBC on Outlook, which is actually a really pretty wonderful program. The BBC World Service does a lot of good stuff as long as you get away from the hard news and when it comes to their history and documentaries, then there's a lot of, you know, better stuff. And Outlook is a fun program. Always women being interviewed about their lives, and always really interesting women. And most recently, it was Patty Boyd, who was a famous model, but also more famous for being George Harrison's first wife and Eric Clapton's girlfriend, and the person who inspired several of their best songs, including Clapton's song Layla, which he wrote after they were reading the poem Layla and Majnun together. And this is about another Layla, name changed to protect the innocent, and another Majnun. His real name was Omid. When Layla met Majnun, it was at a traffic light. He handed her his number at first sight. It all happened very quickly. Soon both of them were aware life can be so good when it's shared. When Layla met Majnun, it was convenient, it would seem, that both of them were living in the city of their dreams. They had no plan to leave and lots of plans to stay. But one day that all changed and they had to go away. So Layla and Majnun together left the country. They got on a crowded boat, sailed the Pacific Sea. They were headed to Australia, a place they thought they knew. Then the Australian Navy sent them to Nauru, where Layla and Majnun were kept there in detention on a tiny little island, run just like a prison, where they were told by immigration, dream all that you can, but your only pathway off this island is on a boat back to Iran. Layla and Majnun, amid the heat and damp, tried to make the best of life in a prison camp. But the strongest of foundations eventually will shake, and the strongest of hearts eventually will break. Layla and Majnun were on the island when one day there came some visitors from the UN. The next thing Layla knew, she was witness to the scene of her beloved doused in gasoline. Layla saw Majnun in a state no one should be in. Bright flames rising, burning off his skin. Sometimes you can reach a point so beaten down, so tired, the only option that seems left is to set yourself on fire. When Layla met Majnun, and Happy New Year to Romania. I guess it's you're in a different time zone from Germany in Romania, huh? It's 1 hour further towards New Year. Congratulations, you made it. I've been hearing from folks in Romania that they're wearing masks because the pollution coming from the blown up buildings in Ukraine is drifting in their direction. What a way to spend the New Year. And then, you know, they don't have electricity because the electrical stations are being bombed. And then there's other, not to make, you know, comparisons, but there's other places where they don't have electricity. There's no electrical grid to bomb. Wave in Portland, the sun shines down, sprinklers are running all over town. It's hot too in Yemen, but lucky for us, nobody here is on that bus. 44 children died. Today, hear the buses pass by. They pass by again. Inside the bus left, came back, and then 44 children died. Today, school trip, a picnic, as the bombings go on. Guess they should have stayed home. Now they're all gone. 44 children died. Fragments of bodies, fragments of bombs litter the market square. On most of the fragments, if you wash off the blood, see USA written there, where 44 children died. The guitar actually is intended to have 8 strings, but I broke one of them, so I took off the other. So it's let's see here. I take requests. If I might be able to do it, I'll do it. But I don't know how to do a lot of things on this instrument. But let's see here. One thing I hope to see happening a lot more in 2023 are the actions that have been taking place all over England and Scotland over the past couple of years at Elbit Systems factories, where they make armaments and ammunition for the now officially fascist Israeli military. Officially fascist according to some members of the government there, who are proudly carrying on this tradition. Oh yeah, we're flooding up here, Mr. Solnit. Lovely to see you. There's a lot of factories we need to smash in this country too, except that we'll go to prison for a long time. Protests were going on. They were going on for years. And then Palestine action started smashing up the gears. And that's when the people got up off their seats, took their families into town and blockaded the streets. For 3 days and nights you could hear the hammers swing, though no one knew for sure what the future might bring. They knew one thing for certain: these weapons of war must not be sent to the ports they're heading for. So this is a note to Elbit Systems: you will be shut down when the sledgehammers of justice come to town. After smashing up equipment and smashing a whole bunch, a lot of folks began developing a hunch. The cops took 3 full days to send anyone inside, and after 15 hours, they let the charges slide. It seems the prosecutors understood the climb. British companies aiding and abetting war crimes. The factory in Oldham had to close its gate, and the muralists in Palestine said that's smashing great. So this is a note to Elbit Systems: you will be shut down when the sledgehammers of justice come to town. All across the country, hammers being swung, showing civil disobedience is stronger than the tongue. Taking action here so the weapons go nowhere, so they don't get sent to the IOF, cause we know what they'll do there. And so does the Prime Minister and the men who he supports, selling weapons to war criminals who don't want to go to court, who don't want to face the facts of what they've done, where the bullets go when they're fired from the guns. So this is a note to Elbit Systems: you will be shut down when the sledgehammers of justice come to town. This is a note to Elbit Systems: you will be shut down when the sledgehammers of justice come to town. When the sledgehammers of justice come to town. Ooh, nah. Yeah. Last time I was in the Bay Area, just a couple weeks ago, I met a bunch of members of the Perez family. Wrote this song. Perez was born in Berkeley, 1989. He grew up past El Cerrito and the Contra Costa line. His parents run a work yard in Richmond, California. He drove a truck there on the west coast of America. Petey Perez was a gentle soul, known to his neighbors and friends. If someone was in trouble, that's who he'd defend. As with so many more among us, he liked to have a drink, which shouldn't be a problem, or at least that's what you might think. Petey Perez was hanging out on Cutting Boulevard when a cop came to visit. He had been drinking hard, but Petey gave his address, said where he was bound, when the cop began to beat him and threw him to the ground. Petey Perez may not have done all that he was told as the cop attacked him and put him in a pain hole, fists pounding on his head. He tried to get away. He wasn't lunging for the gun, all the witnesses say. Petey Perez was turning, as the ballistics evidence shows, trying to walk off. Everybody knows, except for the cop who pulled out his gun, who figured death was the penalty for a guy who tried to run. Perez was unarmed, did not pose a threat. Please don't shoot me, were the last words he said. But Officer Jensen fired, and he fired again and again. 3 bullets to his torso, and then Petey Perez stumbled into the liquor store and died. The witnesses told the truth, and the officer lied. The city saw this too, paid the family money in lieu of justice, as anyone can see. Petey Perez is dead, while Jensen is retired, collecting half his salary until the day he is expired. Not in prison for murder, which is where he'd probably be if he were not a cop in a land of police brutality. Petey Perez was born in Berkeley in 1989. And let's see. Another thing that should happen in 2023 is all the refugees can go home. Oh, I love this. Nikki, wonderful. One of my trials in 2023 with Palestine, was it? So, how many trials you got coming up, Nikki? You're just planning on getting arrested again after that one? I don't know who you are, but I am a great admirer of you. I was born a refugee, and I don't know if I'll ever see the old farmhouse I've heard about, but it's where I belong. The is no doubt, 'cause my whole family is from that farm. We never did nobody harm. And if you're confused by what you've heard, let me boil it down to a single word. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I have heard my grandpa say that on the street most every day the neighbors' kids would kick a ball with my dad when he was small. We were Christians, they were Jews, but it was no big deal, religious views. So it was strange when at the point of a gun across the river we had to run. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. We had Depke, we had songs, we all knew where we belonged. We grew crops, life was good there in the land where Jesus stood. Now we're scattered everywhere, but there's no peace anywhere. And I'm just searching for some kind of sign, for some way back to Palestine. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. That was interesting. My image disappeared as soon as the song was over. I was at a gig recently in Southern Oregon. I did the song Mauda is her name, and then as soon as the song was over, a light in the room just magically came on. So I will do one more song for everybody, and then I will see you again. Well, actually, I'll see you. We'll be broadcasting from Hawaii on the last day of January. And it'll be a really special broadcast with a whole bunch of wonderful musicians and a far more professional broadcasting setup than what I got. Oh, Nikki, you were on the roof for 3 days and nights. You were at that one? Was there more than one case like that? That's the Oldham factory. 3 days and nights smashing stuff. Oh my goodness, it's just cathartic. And to think that it took the cops 3 days before they arrested folks, and then in that particular instance, if it's the one I'm thinking of, they dropped the charges after 15 hours, and then they called folks a few days later and said, "Do you want to come pick up your climbing gear that you used to break in to the factory?" Oh my goodness, very interesting developments. Everybody go to Palestine Action. Whatever, you can find it, follow them on Twitter and Instagram, and if you want to support what I'm doing, I'm on Patreon and Substack, and I put out emails and podcasts and newsletters and stuff, and I tour a lot, and I don't know if Bands in Town is still down, but Songkick is up. You can follow me there, and on my website it's all there, all that info, davidrovics.com, and I'll be in Hawaii in late January, and then down the coast, Oregon and California in February, and March in Hawaii, in Australia, and late May, Denmark, and June in England, Ireland, probably Scotland. So if you're any of those places, I'd love to hear from you about a potential gig. If anybody wants to organize one, I need lots more. I have enough that I know where I'll be, but that's about it. Need lots more gigs. That's how it works. It's a grassroots, crowd-funded operation. Here's a song that's always a good song for New Year's, about the important things. sitting here in front of me, floating in a cloud. Your chocolate eyes meet mine, you're whispering out loud. Words that make me shiver, thoughts that make me melt, and I can only be thankful for the deal I've been dealt. For the words outside this window, for this guitar on my knee, for the smile on your lips, for the good you found in me. Looking at the wood stove and the towels upon the sink, with your fingers on my forehead, all that I can think is life is beautiful. For the way you kiss my fingers, for the way you hold my hands, for the way you look in those leather pants, for the times like now when I just gotta roll another smoke, breathe deeply for a minute and take another toke. Life is beautiful. And when it's over and the afternoon is done, we can spend the evening dreaming of the rising sun. And even when the shadows look me right in the eye, I feel your heart within my belly like the stars up in the sky. Life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. Thanks for listening, everybody, and Happy New Year to all you people in Central European time and various parts of Africa and I don't know wherever else it just turned New Year, and Happy New Year to all the rest of you for whom it has already happened or is about to happen. And I will hopefully see all of you in 2023. There's everywhere that I hope to be in 2023. That rhymes, so it's inevitably going to happen. Take care, everybody. Keep on keeping on. Remember, all the best things in life happen when you're on your way to doing something important. Bye-bye for now.